You know that feeling when you jolt awake at maybe 3 a.m. and the very first thing you register is that you're just completely drenched in sweat?
Oh, yeah. It is, it's the absolute worst.
Right. Your heart is pounding against your ribs, your sheets are like plastered to your legs, your mind is racing, and this immediate, totally frustrating realization washes over you. You are not getting back to sleep anytime soon.
No, you're not. It's a universally maddening experience.
Yeah.
And yet, I mean, almost everyone just accepts it as this random, unfortunate glitch in their night, you know?
Yeah, you just blindly flip the pillow to the cool side, aggressively kick off the blankets, and lie there in the dark doing that terrible mental math.
Oh, the mental math, figuring out exactly how few hours you have left before the alarm goes off.
Exactly. But what if it isn't a glitch? What if your body is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, but your environment is, well, it's betraying you? So today we are doing a deep dive into the fascinating biology of nocturnal thermoregulation.
Which is a very fancy way of saying we're going to figure out why your bed is making you sweat.
Right, exactly. And how you can actually engineer your physical space to fix it. We're pulling from a really thorough clinical text today on nocturnal thermoregulation, night sweats, and highly specific environmental protocols.
And these are protocols you can genuinely use tonight.
Yeah. The goal here is to stop sabotaging our sleep and start supporting actual deep rest. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, to really understand why things go so catastrophically wrong at 3 a.m., we kind of have to start by establishing the biological baseline.
Right, like what the body is actually trying to do.
Exactly. We need to look at what your body's inherently designed to do as it prepares for rest. And it all begins deep within the brain in this tiny but incredibly powerful structure called the hypothalamus.
The hypothalamus.
Yeah, you can think of the hypothalamus as your brain's master biological thermostat.
Which is so fascinating to me because when I think about getting ready for bed, I mean, I'm entirely focused on the external environment. You know?
Right, yeah, the routine.
Yeah. I'm turning off the kitchen lights, making sure the front door's locked, maybe setting an alarm. I completely forget that there is this intricate internal sequence of biological events that has to trigger before sleep is even possible.
Oh, absolutely. And that internal sequence is totally non-negotiable. So as the sun sets, your circadian rhythm senses the absence of light, and it signals to your hypothalamus that the day is ending.
Okay.
The hypothalamus then kicks off this crucial physiological process called vasodilation.
Vasodilation, so blood vessels expanding.
Simply put, yes. The blood vessels located near the surface of your skin, especially out in your extremities like your hands and your feet, they begin to actively widen and expand.
So it's physically opening the pathways to let blood flow closer to the surface. I imagine that's primarily to like release internal heat, right? Because the blood is carrying all that thermal energy you've built up inside your core throughout the day. And by moving it to the skin, it can finally escape into the cooler surrounding air of the bedroom.
That is the exact mechanism. Your body is basically acting as its own radiator.
Oh, wow.
And the biological objective here is highly specific. Your hypothalamus is attempting to force a mandatory drop in your core body temperature by exactly 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wait, just 1 or 2 degrees?
Yeah.
On paper, that sounds incredibly minor. I mean, if the weather outside changed by 2 degrees, I wouldn't even notice.
Right. It sounds minor to our conscious minds, but biologically is absolute law.
Really?
Oh, yeah. This 1 to 2 degree drop is not just some pleasant side effect of getting sleepy.
Yeah.
It is the biological trigger required for your brain to descend into the most restorative, profound stages of non-rapid eye movement, or NREM sleep.
Okay.
And eventually rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. Without achieving that exact sustained temperature drop, your brain simply cannot access the architecture of deep cellular repair and memory consolidation. Just won't happen.
Okay, wait, I have to challenge this because this directly contradicts everything I've ever been taught about getting a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Well, when I think about getting ready for bed, especially in the winter, my immediate instinct is to get as warm as possible. I want the thickest blankets. I want to be bundled up. I want to feel totally cozy and insulated.
Right, a cozy nest.
Yeah. Are you telling me that by creating that warm, cozy nest, I am actively fighting my own body's biological need to cool down?
I am telling you exactly that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that instinct for coziness sets up a fundamental conflict between our ancient evolutionary biology and our modern bedrooms. I mean, think about it evolutionarily. Our bodies are designed to sleep, as the ambient temperature of the Earth drops at night.
Oh, sure. Out in nature, it gets cold when the sun goes down.
Exactly. Your body is desperately trying to offload internal heat to trigger that vital sleep architecture.
Yeah.
And by piling on the thick layers, you are immediately trapping all of that expelled heat right back against your skin.
Which brings up a really glaring contradiction.
Was
If the human body is this beautifully evolved machine, perfectly designed over millennia to cool itself down, why are so many perfectly healthy adults waking up boiling hot in the middle of the night?
right.
And looking at our clinical source material, the answer is literally right underneath us.
It's the mattress itself.
Yeah.
Specifically, the massive boom in modern synthetic mattresses. We are talking about incredibly popular high-density memory foams and viscoelastic polyurethane materials.
Viscoelastic polyurethane. Let's ground that jargon for a second. Essentially, we are paying thousands of dollars to sleep on a giant, dense sponge made of plastic chemicals.
Well, that is a very literal way to look at it, but yes. The issue lies in the density and the chemical composition of those synthetic polymers.
Okay.
They are notorious in the materials world for being entirely non-permeable. They do not breathe.
Not at all.
So as your hypothalamus dutifully triggers vasodilation and your body begins expelling that crucial thermal energy to get your core temperature down that mandatory 1 to 2 degrees,
Those modern synthetic materials simply absorb that heat and stubbornly hold on to it.
precisely.
So the heat literally has nowhere to go. It just reflects back up and pools in the mattress right underneath your back and your legs.
And as that trapped heat continuously accumulates over the first few hours of the night, the microclimate of your bed, that little pocket of physical space between your body, the mattress, and the blankets, it reaches a critical thermal threshold.
It just bakes.
It really does. The temperature in that pocket gets so high that your core body temperature, which absolutely needs to remain cool to keep you anchored in deep NREM and REM sleep, begins to artificially rise.
Which means your hypothalamus, that master thermostat we talked about, is suddenly getting blaring alarm bells.
Exactly. It's expecting a nice, steady cool down, and instead it senses that the core temperature is rapidly spiking.
So it panics.
Total panic.
Yeah.
It recognizes a dangerous, unprompted heat spike. So the hypothalamus initiates a severe emergency protocol. It activates the sympathetic nervous system, which abruptly yanks you out of your deep restorative rest. And it sends an overriding command to your eccrine glands to start pumping out massive amounts of fluid.
Hold on. Eccrine glands, those are just our standard sweat glands, right?
Correct. The eccrine glands are the primary sweat glands distributed all over your body.
Right. So this intense evaporative cooling response is what we experience as that universally dreaded night sweat.
Yes.
You wake up completely soaked because your body was basically screaming, emergency cooling system engaged.
That's exactly what's happening. The biological goal is rapid evaporative cooling to save the internal organs from overheating.
But the collateral damage is that it completely shatters your sleep architecture. Your cortisol levels spike from the stress response. Your heart is pounding. You are physically shivering now because you're wet. And your brain is suddenly wide awake on high alert.
And understanding this mechanism debunks a massive, pervasive misconception in the medical and wellness spaces.
Oh, the myth about what causes night sweats.
Right. There's this mainstream myth out there that if you suffer from night sweats, it must be the result of a severe endocrine imbalance, or massive hormonal fluctuations, or extreme psychological stress manifesting as a nightmare.
Right. The automatic assumption is always that there is something clinically wrong with you internally. You wake up sweating and immediately think, am I sick? Am I incredibly stressed?
Exactly. And while internal physiological factors certainly can contribute for some demographics, the clinical truth presented in their research is surprisingly straightforward.
Yeah.
For the vast majority of healthy adults, it isn't an internal malfunction at all. It is simply a poorly engineered physical environment. Your perfectly healthy, fully functional body is just fighting a losing battle against a heat-trapping microclimate.
Reading the source material, I couldn't help but think of like a high-end gaming laptop.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, if you're running heavy, demanding software all day, processing complex decisions, dealing with emotional stress, working out naturally, the processor generates a massive amount of internal heat.
Right. And sleep is essentially the biological equivalent of the system shutting down for the night to perform critical updates and, defragment the hard drive. That's your REM sleep and cellular repair.
Exactly. But for a computer to do that safely, the internal cooling fans have to engage to bring the processor's temperature down to a neutral, safe baseline. Sleeping on a dense memory foam mattress is like taking that running high-performance laptop and wrapping it tightly in a thick, synthetic thermal blanket.
The heat reflects directly back into the motherboard.
Right. The internal sensors detect dangerous overheating. The cooling fans go into absolute screaming overdrive, which is the massive night sweat.
Yes.
And eventually, to prevent permanent hardware damage, the system abruptly crashes and forces a restart. That restart is you waking up suddenly in a panic at 3 a.m., wondering why your sheets are drenched.
What's fascinating here is that analogy perfectly illustrates the power we actually have over this issue, because the solution becomes glaringly obvious.
You don't need to fix the computer?
Exactly. To keep the system running perfectly, you do not need to rewrite the software. You don't need to fundamentally change your body's biology. You simply need to remove the thermal blanket.
Wow.
You have to actively engineer a neutral, highly ventilated physical environment.
So if throwing out my expensive memory foam mattress isn't an option right now, what can I actually do to fix this microclimate?
Well, the source text outlines 3 highly specific elite protocols for engineering what it calls thermal neutrality.
And I love this because they are entirely behavioral and environmental. They cost $0 to implement.
$0. Let's look at Protocol 1, the pre-sleep vasodilation drop.
Okay, the instruction here is to take a warm bath or a warm shower for 10 to 15 minutes, about 90 minutes before you plan to go to sleep.
This is a highly effective, strictly biological hack.
Wait, I have to admit some genuine confusion here. If our entire goal for the last 10 minutes has been to cool the core body temperature down, adding external heat right before bed by standing in a hot shower seems completely backward.
It does seem counterintuitive.
Yeah. How does adding heat cool you down?
It is all about manipulating that vasodilation process we discussed earlier.
Okay.
When you expose your skin to the warm water of a shower, it forces the blood vessels at the surface of your skin to rapidly, aggressively dilate. They open up incredibly wide to deal with the external heat.
Right.
This action actively pulls a significant volume of blood away from your deep internal core, bringing it all the way out to the surface of your skin.
Okay, I followed the mechanics of that. You're drawing the heat from the inside out to the perimeter.
Then the magic happens the moment you step out of that warm shower and into a cooler bedroom environment.
Oh.
Because all that warm blood is now pooled at the absolute surface of your skin, your body rapidly offloads a massive amount of thermal energy all at once into the cool air. This causes your internal core temperature to experience a steep, sudden plummet.
Oh, wow. So you are basically tricking your nervous system.
Yes.
You're accelerating the natural cooling process by creating a massive temperature contrast.
Precisely. That steep, rapid drop in core temperature acts as a powerful biological sedative. Your brain senses that aggressive temperature decline and anchors you down into deep sleep much faster.
That is wild.
And furthermore, because you've offloaded so much core heat up front, it creates a robust thermal buffer. You have more runway before the mattress can trap enough heat to trigger a night sweat later in the night.
That is brilliant engineering of your own biology. Okay, so that's Protocol 1. Protocol 2 is the glabrous skin exhaust valve.
Yes, this one is for when you are actually getting into bed.
The action is intentionally exposing one foot or both hands outside from under the blankets.
To fully grasp the power of this protocol, we need to talk about glabrous skin.
Glabrous skin.
Yeah. This is the specific, smooth, completely hairless skin found exclusively on the palms of your hands, the soles of your feet, and the upper half of your face.
Well, what exactly makes glabrous skin functionally different from the skin on, say, my arm or my leg?
It contains highly specialized, dense vascular structures known as arteriovenous anastomoses.
Arteriovenous anastomoses? Yeah, try saying that at 3 a.m.
Right. It's a mouthful.
So, without the medical terminology, what are these structures actually doing? Are they essentially just tiny biological exhaust pipes built right into our skin?
That is the perfect way to describe them. Because they are so heavily vascularized, meaning they have an incredibly dense network of blood vessels, and because they lack the insulating layer of hair, these specific surfaces are uniquely evolved to transfer heat rapidly to the surrounding air.
Okay.
They bypass the normal capillary beds to dump heat directly.
I absolutely love this insight because it completely validates that universal childhood instinct.
Oh, totally.
Every single kid instinctively kicks one foot out from under the covers when they get a little too warm. We all do it without even thinking about it, and let's be honest, half of us still do it as adults.
Guilty.
And it turns out it's not just some weird psychological quirk or a comfort habit. We are literally deploying an advanced biological exhaust valve.
It is a profound, intuitive behavior that we shouldn't suppress. By keeping just the sole of your foot or the palms of your hands exposed to the cooler ambient air of the bedroom, you are allowing your body to continuously, passively vent excess thermal energy.
It's like leaving a window cracked.
Exactly. You're regulating your core temperature seamlessly throughout the night without ever having to undergo the jarring, disruptive experience of throwing all the heavy covers off or waking up completely drenched in sweat.
That is the kind of aha moment that completely changes how you view your own body. So we've got the shower hack, we've got the foot out of the blanket. What about the bed itself?
Right, the physical setup.
Yeah, Protocol 3 is the microclimate material overhaul. The action here is to ruthlessly audit every single textile that is touching your skin all night.
This is where we confront the physical environment directly and deal with the trap we've built for ourselves. You have to strip away any synthetic, heat-trapping fabrics from your bed.
So what's on the ban list?
We're talking about polyester, microfiber, anything with an artificial polymer base. These materials act as non-permeable heat shields. They are the thermal blankets smothering your computer processor.
Because microfiber is essentially just millions of microscopic plastic threads woven together, right?
Right.
Of course, plastic isn't going to breathe.
Exactly. It's literally woven plastic.
So what are the materials we should actually be looking for?
You must transition your bedding entirely to highly breathable, temperature-neutral, natural organic fibers. The clinical source specifically highlights 3 top options.
Okay.
Percale-woven organic cotton, pure bamboo, or natural flax linen.
Why do these specific natural materials succeed where the synthetics fail? I mean, a sheet is a sheet, right?
It comes down to continuous aerodynamic ventilation and inherent moisture-wicking properties.
Aerodynamic ventilation.
Yeah. These natural fibers, especially in a percale weave, which leaves physical microscopic gaps between the threads, allow air to pass through them passively.
Ah, so they don't block the heat.
Right. They do not trap the thermal energy your body is trying to expel. They allow it to dissipate naturally up and out into the room.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
And by switching to these materials for your sheets, your blankets, and crucially your mattress protector, which is often a hidden layer of plastic, you create a microclimate that actively supports your body's natural cooling cycle instead of fighting against it.
It is wild how much control we actually have over this physiological process just by changing the textiles we put on the bed. So if I'm looking at my own bedroom tonight and trying to pull all this together...
Let's synthesize the clinical terminology here.
Yeah, the ultimate goal is to simply regulate my internal biology by creating a completely neutral environment.
Neutral is the key word.
Right. A space that just gets out of my body's way, adding neither extreme heat nor extreme cold.
Right.
Because if I can maintain that neutrality, I don't trigger that emergency sweat response.
Exactly.
And my brain can actually get down to the business of deep restorative rest.
That synthesis perfectly captures the clinical approach. We have to stop viewing our biology as the enemy and start engineering our environments to support it.
It radically reframes how we view our bedrooms. I mean, a bed is not just a soft place to crash and close your eyes at the end of a long, exhausting day.
Not at all.
According to this research, it should be treated as a sophisticated clinical chamber designed for elite cellular recovery. Your mattress, your sheets, your pre-sleep routine like that warm shower, they are all actionable tools.
They are.
Mastering that thermal microclimate isn't just about avoiding the annoyance of a sweaty night. It is the fundamental key to waking up with actual daily vitality. So, what does this all mean for you?
Well, if I can leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Please do.
If our highly engineered, modern synthetic mattresses and plush microfiber blankets are actually fighting against our ancient evolutionary need to cool down, what other cozy, highly marketed modern comforts in our homes might be inadvertently working against our fundamental biology?
Oh, man, that is a brilliant question to sit with. Think about all the conveniences we buy that might actually be short-circuiting our own software.
Something to think about.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Tonight, as you get ready for bed, take a hard look at your sleep environment, feel the fabrics, notice the temperature, and maybe, just maybe, stick one foot out from under those covers. We'll see you next time.